Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Dr. T here. Yes, many of you have noticed I've been wearing glasses this week. Why? Because I have entered the world of readers. I can see perfectly from far, but up close, ugh. So this is the new look for Dr. T. But I wanted to talk a little bit to you about saying sorry. Sometimes we get so excited about wanting to do something or wanting to be somewhere or wanting to eat or go, we forget that there's steps that we have to take to do things. Now, in the adult world, we all have bosses, and we typically have to ask our boss or go through our boss or check with our boss to make sure we can do certain things. And if you don't do those steps, you can get yourself in trouble because you gotta ask first. Now, in the elementary world, the age you guys are, sometimes you guys get so excited you forget to ask. So today I want to talk about sorry, I forgot to ask. Before I get into the story, have you ever had to say, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry, I didn't remember. I'm sorry, I was excited. Where you just got ahead of yourself. And that happens to all of us. But we're going to read a story about sorry, I forgot to ask. And this is a story about asking for permission and making an apology. Can anybody tell me what an apology is? When you apologize, what do? What's one of the things you typically say when you apologize? I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry can fix a lot of problems. When you know you've made a mistake, make sure you go to the person or persons, tell them what you did, mean what you say, and actually apologize. You just can't say, I'm sorry. People don't know what you're sorry for. You might just be sorry that they're upset with you, and that's not good enough. You need to truly feel what they felt and tell them what you are sorry for and why you're sorry. My name is RJ, and I'm in time out again. It seems like I've been in time out a lot lately. Can anybody identify with RJ? Have any of you been in time out at home or at grandma's or even in school? Friday after school, my best friend Sam and I decided we didn't want to ride the bus. So we walked home instead. Evergreen, does this sound like a good idea? Definitely not. On the way home, we had a rock throwing contest in the field. Evergreen, does a rock throwing contest sound like a good idea? I don't think so. We took our shoes off and went wading in the frog pond, but we didn't catch any frogs. Then we stopped at the corner store and bought slushes. I got bubble gum, blueberry, and Sam got grape. Now, sounds like a pretty fun afternoon. The only problem, what should they have done? They did a couple things wrong here. Decided to not ride the bus, rock throwing contest, they're down by the pond unsupervised. Now they're at the store. Maybe they should have thought this one through. When I walked into my house, my mom looked worried. She smiled and ran over and gave me a great big hug. But as soon as she saw the slushy marks on my face, her smile turned into a mad frown. What do you think Mom's thinking, Evergreen? Probably in trouble. Where have you been? I was so worried about you, she said. Well, Sam and I decided that we wanted to ride the bus. So, wait a minute, you walked home? Yes, and on the way home, we had a rock throwing RJ, you can't just decide to not take the bus. You have to ask for permission. We just spent the last 2 hours looking for you. Now, while RJ and his friend are out there having the time of their life, how do you think Mom and the family felt? Nervous, worried, scared, anxious, maybe even angry. Your teacher was worried. The bus driver was worried. Sam's mom and dad were worried, and your dad and I were worried sick. So he planned to have just the best good old time with his friend. He didn't mean to upset these people, but he didn't really think about how to go about it. But why are you so mad? All we did was walk home. Evergreen, can you tell RJ what he did wrong? What did he do wrong? He didn't mean to do anything wrong, but what did he do wrong? RJ, I'm upset because you didn't ask for permission and we didn't know where you were. Sorry, I forgot to ask. Sometimes saying sorry just isn't enough, his mom said. Then I got sent to my time out chair. This makes me laugh. You know why? Because when Dr. T was in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, I had a timeout chair that I sat in a few times. But luckily I learned my lesson and didn't have to go in there, I don't think, after second grade. On Saturday morning, Sam was over at my house and we were playing video games. We needed to get a code off of the internet to win the game. My parents always ask me for permission, but before I get on the internet, my dad was outside washing the car and my mom was on the phone talking to my Aunt Sylvia. So Evergreen, let me ask you. He's supposed to ask to get on the internet because he wants to play some games with Sam. But mom is busy right now and dad is busy right now. What should RJ do? Should he get on the internet without asking them since they're so busy? They're just gonna play games. Think that'd be a good idea? Just get on real quick and look it up, Sam. Now his buddy is trying to talk him into it. We went into my dad's office and logged onto the computer just as my mom got off the phone. Evergreen, good idea, bad idea? RJ, she said, you know you have to ask for permission before you get on the internet. We were just looking up a game code, Mom. What's the big deal? Evergreen, let me tell you, if I would have said, what's the big deal to my mom, I'm not so sure Dr. T would be here to tell this story today. The deal is you know the rule, and you broke the rule. Sam, please go home. RJ, I think you're in trouble, buddy. I know. Go to my chair for another timeout. Doesn't seem like RJ is learning the easy way. He seems to have to learn the hard way. Do we got any people like RJ out there who are having to learn the hard way? That afternoon, when my little sister Blanche and I got back from our piano lessons, we walked into the house and it smelled like a cup of hot chocolate. My mom had made her ultimate, famous, triple layer, double chocolate cake with whipped cream frosting. There it was, sitting right on the counter. Next to the cake was a note. Dear RJ and Blanche, I'm picking up Grandma. I'll be home in 10 minutes. Your snack is on the table. Love, Mom. Evergreen. So if you and your brother or sister came home and saw that cake, but there's a note, and Mom said there's a snack on the table for them, what would you do? Would you listen to the note, or would you cut into that delicious, wonderful cake right there? You think RJ's gonna make a good choice? I looked over at the table, apples, string cheese, and graham crackers. I don't want to eat this stuff, said Blanche. I want cake. Me too. Should we wait to ask Mom? What do you think, Evergreen? Go for the cake or wait to ask Mom? Do you think some of y'all gonna go for that cake? Well, if we just eat a teeny tiny piece, she probably won't even notice. Stop right there. That sounds like lying. So I know that's a terrible idea. Would any of you eat a tiny piece and hope that mom didn't see it? It tasted so good. Then we each had another tiny piece and another and another. Evergreen, what do you think's gonna happen to RJ and Blanche when mom gets home and seeing they did not listen to her note and they ate some of the cake? They in trouble? They in a little bit or a lot of bit of trouble? I'm thinking a lot of bit. And then in walked my mom with guess who? Grandma! Ah! At first my mom smiled, but when she saw us eating the cake, she got tears in her eyes and her face turned sad. Why do you think her face turned sad, Evergreen? I have an idea. RJ and Blanche, she said, you ate the cake? Yeah, and it's so good. That was Grandma's special birthday cake. I told you we should have asked RJ, Blanche said. Uh-oh, sorry. Do you think saying sorry at this point is going to be good, Evergreen? Might even make mom even more angry. Blanche, RJ, go to your chairs. You are both in time out. So I sat in my chair waiting for my third timeout of the weekend to end. About 16 years later, my dad came over to talk to me. Now that they're in timeout again, what do you think Dad is going to say to them? What do you think? What's he going to say? Let's hear. RJ, you are really struggling lately with asking for permission. Who does that sound like? Have you heard your parents say that? Have you heard your teacher say that? Have you heard me say that? Mr. Mateo, lunch ladies. Have you heard this before? You walked home from school without asking. You got on the internet without asking. And you helped yourself to Grandma's special birthday cake without asking and spoiled Mom's party plans. You need to do a much better job of asking for permission. RJ did not mean to do anything wrong today. The only mistake he made, and he made more than once, he forgot to ask. When you ask for permission, you should do these things. Are you ready? You got your notepads down, Evergreen? Take these notes. Look right at the person when you're ready to ask. Don't come asking nobody, looking all over the place. Make eye contact and look at them. Use a calm, pleasant voice, and don't talk too fast. Ask, may I please? And then do your best to stay calm if the answer is a no or a yes. Did you get it? Yeah, but when I remember to ask, the answer is usually no, RJ. Just keep asking for permission. The better you are at accepting no the right way, the more likely we'll say yes the next time. I'm gonna say that one again. The better you are at accepting no the right way, the more likely we'll say yes the next time. I felt really bad about eating my grandma's birthday cake, but I didn't know what to say to her. Mom went to the store and bought another chocolate cake for the party, but it just wasn't the same. bet that's a pretty quiet dinner table. RJ and Blanche, very poor choices. On Monday, when I got back to school, Sam and I got sent to the principal's office. RJ and Sam, he said, you both had everybody really worried on Friday, so you guys forgot about the school bus. You can't just decide on your own that you want to walk home from school. You have to ask for permission. No need to apologize, and just saying the word sorry is not enough. Evergreen, I had 2 students in here the other day, and they made a poor choice, so we were just talking about the whole situation. And when we were all done, the student said to me, I'm sorry. You know what I said to that student? I don't want your sorry. I want better choices. And the student was sad that I would not accept her sorry. And I didn't accept it because it wasn't the first time we had this conversation. We need better choices. Saying sorry after the fact just doesn't cut it. To say you're sorry, you should do the following. Look right at the person. You've got nothing to fear. Say, I'm sorry, or I apologize, for you must be sincere. No one wants to hear an apology that is not sincere or honest. Explain your new plan to be the best you can be. Then finish by saying, thanks for listening to me. That can go a long way to fixing some bad situations. My principal had both me and Sam practice apologizing the right way. I think we had to do it like 100 times. Then we had to tell our teacher and the bus driver that we were sorry and wouldn't walk home again without asking for permission. After making that many apologies, I was getting pretty good at it. Evergreen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying I'm sorry, apologizing, explaining what you'll do better. When I got home from school, I asked my mom to take me over to my grandma's so I could apologize the right way for eating her cake. I realized that asking for forgiveness is a lot harder than just asking for permission in the first place. My grandma loved my apology. She gave me a big hug. Did you get the message at the beginning of that page? Asking for forgiveness is a lot harder than just asking for permission. The next Saturday, Grandma and I made an ultimate famous triple layer double chocolate cake with whipped cream frosting, and we gave it to my mom. Now, it ended pretty well, but RJ and Blanche, they got themselves in a good bit of trouble, especially RJ. You know why? He forgot to ask for permission. So Evergreen, what are we going to do a better job at school, at home, at grandparents, at aunts, uncles, wherever you're at? Are you going to ask for permission, or are you going to just keep saying, I'm sorry, after you didn't ask for permission? Let's make better choices before we get in trouble. All right, Evergreen, stay well. Dr. T, until next time.